Hello, my name is Leslie Esinga from the Integrated Clinical Services Department and a member of the Employee Resource Affinity Group Employees of Color, the Northeast Health Clinic, and Northern Region Equity Teams. Today, as we celebrate Black History Month, we highlight a key organizer with the Black Panther Party and a founding member of the Rainbow Coalition, Fred Hampton. Born in Illinois, my home state, in 1948, Fred Hampton came into this world with a fire to practice liberation and build a future in which the people's powers shaped our institutions and the political economic system itself. His parents, Francis and Iberia Hampton, had moved out of the South from Louisiana to the Chicago suburbs as a part of the Great Migration in the early 20th century. The Hampton family was working class, and both parents were active members of Local 7507 of the Oil and Chemical Workers Union. His upbringing helped shape the young Fred Hampton's class and political awareness at a very early age. Jeffrey Haas, the author of the book, The Assassination of Fred Hampton, How the FBI and Chicago Police Murdered a Black Panther, writes, Fred just couldn't accept injustice anywhere. When he was 10 years old, Hampton organized and hosted weekend breakfasts for other children in the neighborhood, cooking the food himself. This work foreshadowed the Free Breakfast for Children program that the Black Panther Party would later institute across the nation. The young Hampton was keenly aware of racial injustice in his community. His mother babysat for Emmett Till prior to the 14-year-old's murder in Mississippi in 1955. 10 years after Till was murdered, he witnessed white mobs attacking Martin Luther King Jr.'s Chicago Crusade firsthand. In high school, Fred Hampton excelled in academics, athletics, and continued his political work, leading student walkouts and protests to challenge racist and exclusionary practices in the school. He later became active in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, better known as the NAACP, and assumed leadership of its West Suburban Branch's Youth Council. Here is where he honed his skills as an organizer, and he recruited 500 new members. Concurrently, the Black Panther Party was rising in influence across the nation. Hampton was attracted to the party's 10-point program that prioritized self-determination and the material needs of the Black community. He joined the party in 1968 and later became the Illinois chapter chairman and the deputy chairman for the National Party. He was a brilliant orator, organizer, and political thinker. Hampton used his platform to help organize survival programs in the Black community, build the community's political agency, and realize political collaboration among other marginalized communities. Together with Jose Chacha Jimenez, the founder of the Young Lords, a primarily Puerto Rican street organization, and William Preacher Man Fesperman of the Young Patriots, an organization of poor immigrants from Appalachia, Fred Hampton founded the Rainbow Coalition. The Rainbow Coalition, which later included the Red Guard, the American Indian Movement, and the Brown Berets, put specific community experiences of oppression into sharp focus. It allowed people to see how the system of racism and class oppression impacted all communities in very specific ways. More importantly, it created an opportunity for radical and collaborative community responses to systemic problems. Because of his commitment to liberation and his shared communities, Hampton was a danger to those in positions of power whose power depended upon exploitation. In 1969, when Fred Hampton was just 21 years old, he was assassinated in a coordinated operation that included the Chicago Police and the FBI. But if revolution is the transformation of one thing into another, Fred Hampton, in both work and words, embodied the revolution in which people transform oppression into liberation. And with this, I'd like to close with Chairman Fred's own words. You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail the revolution. You can run a freedom fighter around the country, but you can't run freedom fighting around the country. You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. Rest in peace, Chairman. The struggle continues.